Everything in this universe, every mercy, every bond of love, every blessing, moves toward one truth, magnetism. But Ibn Arabi called it something deeper, al-jadb al-ilahi, the divine magnetism, the pull between the Creator and His creation. You are already a magnet, whether you know it or not. The question is, what are you attracting? When the heart is purified and the mind freed from its noise, the soul awakens to that divine pull, a current of light that draws toward it only what Allah has written. Life begins to flow in harmony with the unseen order. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, "Whoever purifies what is within him, Allah beautifies what is around him." Your thoughts, emotions, and habits are not small things. They are the architects of your destiny. The body is but the clay that the heart molds every moment. The radiance of faith reflects through the eyes, the voice, and even silence. For a luminous soul cannot hide. It shines by the permission of Allah. Remember, thought has no walls. Whatever direction you send it toward, it travels endlessly in that stream. The universe is open to the consciousness that trusts in the Lord of all things. As Allah reminds us in the Quran, "We have not withheld from you the treasures of your Lord." The only barrier is the self that does not yet believe. Before proceeding, tell me, what kind of energy do you think your heart is attracting right now? Peace, faith, or fear? Share your reflection in the comments below. If this message touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so this light can reach more hearts seeking peace, healing, and remembrance. But notice this. Each of you hears these words differently. One hears hope, another hears correction, another feels nothing at all. Why? Because perception is the mirror of one's heart. Each soul listens through its own dust and clarity. Ibn Arabi said the color of the water is the color of its vessel. The message is one. Only the receiver changes it through the state of his being. Consider a simple act. Someone pinches your arm. The body first feels the sensation that is physical. Then the mind perceives it. That is awareness. Then it interprets it. I have been hurt. That is naming. This entire chain from sensation to meaning is your inner world shaping your experience. And this inner world is your true magnetism, the unseen field that surrounds your being. This magnetism is what draws or repels people long before words are spoken. The tongue may lie, but the heart cannot disguise its frequency. Before you speak, your presence has already declared you. If your heart is soft with compassion, people feel ease around you. If it is tangled in envy, anger, or pride, your energy pushes them away. Magnetism is the silent conversation between souls, a language the body cannot fake. Everyone wishes to be loved, to be seen, to be valued. Even a child cries to be noticed. Yet how many of us offer the same warmth that we demand? We forgive our own moods with excuses. I was tired. I was upset. Yet we judge others for the same. Try for one moment to stand before your own soul and reveal your faults with the same honesty you use to expose others. You will find humility flowering in your heart. The world is filled with reformers who wish to fix others but refuse to fix themselves. But Ibn Arabi said the true reformer is he who begins with his own heart. For the world is but its reflection. Start with kindness. It is the fragrance of divine presence. Harshness is not strength. It is disease of the spirit. The one who is cruel outwardly is suffering inwardly. If someone behaves unjustly toward you, let that sight remind you to be gentler still, for unkindness is darkness. Only light can dissolve it. Ibn Arabi wrote, "Every act of anger that you conquer becomes a jewel in the crown of your soul. Discipline without love is ego. Discipline with love is guidance. Even when you must correct, let it be with gentleness. Let your voice carry firmness but never venom. The prophet never cursed a soul, though he was wronged more than any man. His strength was not in loudness but in mercy. Let your words fall like petals, firm if they must correct, but never cruel. When others pour out bitterness, let sweetness rise from your heart. That is not weakness. That is mastery. Through self-control and noble behavior, you step out of the lower currents of humanity and align with the higher will. You stop belonging to the noise of the world and start belonging to the harmony of the divine. True attraction begins not with beauty but with purity. External beauty without inner grace is like a painted vessel holding poison. The outer may sparkle, but the heart is dull. How many chase appearances polishing the surface while the soul decays unseen? The face glows not by makeup but by mercy. The eyes shine not by shape but by sincerity. If the spirit within is selfish or hollow, no ornament can disguise it. It becomes what Nabi called a form without life. But when the heart glows with remembrance, the light of sincerity seeps through the body and becomes your aura. Yes, care for the body. It is the house of your soul, the trust of your Creator. Keep it clean, dignified, and strong. But the finest form is not the most sculpted. It is the one calm in its rhythm, at peace in its movement. As the Sufis say, it is not the color of the cheeks, but the color of the heart that makes one beautiful. When your life loses harmony, do not blame destiny. Look inward, correct the currents of your thoughts, calm your emotions, purify your habits. The outer world will begin to reflect your inner balance. The body is the shadow of the soul, and when the soul stands in the light of Allah, the shadow too becomes radiant. Those who live in remembrance carry an unseen force. Their words carry weight. Their silence carries healing. Their thoughts are charged with divine current, and by merely sitting near them, your own heart begins to remember its origin. Ibn Arabi said, "The saint does not teach you by speech, but by presence, for his silence contains the speech of the real." Environment shapes the heart more deeply than willpower ever can. Ibn Arabi wrote that the soul takes on the color of the company it keeps. Surround yourself with those whose hearts are gardens of remembrance, whose presence feels like prayer, and your own being will begin to mirror theirs. The company of the heedless weakens the light. The company of the present strengthens it. But presence, deep, steady attention is the true key. When half your awareness is scattered among distractions, your energy leaks into emptiness. But when your attention is whole, every breath becomes charged with divine current. This is why saints, even in silence, can alter the rhythm of a place. Their attention is a sun, invisible yet irresistible, drawing hearts into warmth. Beautify your face, your form, your dwelling if you wish. There is no blame in that. But if you neglect the polishing of the heart, you rob your soul of its original brilliance. In the East, hearts are trained to become still as the desert before dawn. In the West, bodies are trained to shine with vigor and health. Yet balance is born when inner stillness and outer grace move as one. When form bows to spirit and spirit blossoms through form, it is better to be inwardly radiant than outwardly adorned. But the perfect harmony is when both serve one another. Simplify your outer life. Each unnecessary desire becomes a chain around the heart. Let go of what you do not need, and the freed energy will turn inward, polishing your soul until it gleams like a mirror of light. That is divine magnetism, the attraction born from the fragrance of sincerity. You may meet someone whose features are plain, yet their presence fills you with peace. Their eyes seem to know you before you speak. That is the magnetism of purity. Jamal al-Batan, Inner Beauty. It is the quiet fragrance that lingers long after words are forgotten. Ibn Arabi said, "Beauty is the transparency of the real through the veil of form." Your outer appearance, especially your eyes, reveals your consciousness. The eyes are not only windows of the soul, they are mirrors of your remembrance. A single glance can unveil the truth of a heart. If you wish your gaze to heal, fill your heart with light. Harsh eyes, jealous eyes, restless eyes, they are born from the inner forgetting of Allah. But calm eyes, merciful eyes, they are born from remembrance. Each loving thought polishes the mirror of your gaze. Each selfish thought veils it with dust. So think thoughts that bless, thoughts of goodwill, courage, and forgiveness. Every kind thought restores the divine image within you, for you were created in beauty. We have indeed created man in the best of forms, says the Quran. Keep your consciousness sacred, and your very presence will become a supplication. It is never too late to begin again. Every fall is a chance to rise more luminous. Each sorrow, mistake, or trial is a stone polishing the gem of your soul. Sit in silence at day's end and ask gently, did I add to the light of this world today or to its shadow? This question alone refines the heart. To live is to ascend physically, mentally, morally, spiritually. Each day, if you become a little more compassionate, a little more clear, a little more sincere, your magnetism multiplies. You need not preach, your silence will speak. The Prophet ﷺ said, "The believer is a mirror to his brother." When your heart is pure, others will see their own light reflected in you. When adversity strikes, do not cry, "Why me?" Instead, whisper, "This too is Allah's hand shaping me." Every pain is a chisel carving away illusion. Every obstacle is the beloved's invitation to remember. Without resistance, there is no growth, just as the bow must be bent for the arrow to fly. So face your tests with serenity. They are not punishments. They are awakenings. Each challenge you meet with patience brings you closer to the divine image already within you. As you awaken this hidden strength, your magnetism brightens. For true magnetism is the remembrance of Allah made visible. When you live in discipline, when your thoughts are noble, when your heart radiates mercy, when your actions are intentional, you become a living magnet of light. Whoever comes near you will feel peace without knowing why. This is the secret law. Attunement creates attraction. When your heart is aligned with the divine, blessings move toward you, as rivers toward the sea. Books can teach form, but the company of a realized soul transmits essence. Ibn Arabi wrote, "One gaze from the knower of God contains what 1,000 books cannot teach." When you contemplate the saints and their silence, your thoughts begin to echo theirs. Your breath begins to vibrate with their peace. And even from afar, the heart that remembers its teacher is never apart, for remembrance itself is the bridge. The prophets, Adam, Noah, Abraham, Moses, Jesus, and Muhammad, peace be upon them all, are not distant names from history. They are honored messengers whom Allah chose to guide humanity. Each carried the light of revelation according to His command. When your heart turns toward them with love and reverence, you awaken the remembrance of Allah who sent them. Their remembrance is not worship. It is a reminder of the one they served. Their peace is not a mystical transmission, but a reflection of obedience to their Lord. When you remember the friends of Allah, the prophets, the righteous, the truthful, you remember Allah through their example, for they were mirrors to His mercy and guidance. Walk through the sacred lands, Makkah, where surrender to Allah was perfected, Jerusalem, where patience and forgiveness were lived, and every place where hearts bowed in sincere remembrance. And you feel that the earth still bears witness to those who submitted completely to their Lord. These places carry the fragrance of obedience, not divinity. Yet Ibn Arabi reminds us, the greatest journey is not with the feet, but with the soul. Sit where you are, close your eyes, and turn inward toward your heart. The true Kaaba of the believer lies within his chest, the place where sincerity and faith reside. When you reflect upon the lives of the prophets and the pious, your thoughts refine, your heart softens, and your will aligns not with desire, but with the divine will. True freedom is found only in surrender to Allah, for His command governs all things. To follow the ego makes one narrow, but to follow the way of those filled with the remembrance of Allah makes one vast and luminous. Their consciousness reflects not divinity but devotion, the magnetic pull of faith toward its source. This is al-jadb al-ilahi, the divine attraction of the soul to its creator. Remember the eternal promise in the Quran. So remember me, and I will remember you. Surah Al-Baqarah 2:152. Seek Him, and all that is meant for you will come by His will. For He alone is the source of all love, all knowledge, and all beauty. When you love Him not for His gifts, but for who He is, Al-Wadud, Al-Haq, His light flows through your being effortlessly. You become a vessel for His attraction, a magnet of divine mercy. Then even your quietest prayer uttered with purity begins to take form, not by your doing but through Him. For the real moves hearts unseen. He plants your yearning in others as inspiration, guiding them to fulfill what was destined. This is not fantasy. It is the law of divine reciprocity. What moves in Him moves in all. Divine magnetism. Jadb is the secret force that crowns the saints. It is what makes them beloved without effort, radiant without words. They do not seek followers. They draw souls as flowers draw bees. Their magnetism is not personality. It is presence. It is the vibration of the divine recognizing itself in every heart it meets. In the silence of deep meditation, whisper this prayer as Ibn Arabi once did. O beloved, enter this house of clay. Whether it trembles or stands strong, whether it shines or decays, Thou art its guest and its owner. Enter, for I have emptied it of all but Thee. When that presence fills you, the body loses its tyranny. You no longer chase beauty or fear age. You see that form is shadow and the soul is light. You realize that joy, peace, and strength were never earned. They were always remembered. The one who loves God above himself becomes a mirror of divine attraction. He no longer says, I am radiant, but he shines through me. Then it no longer matters whether he walks the earth or rests beneath it. For life and death are both movements of the same breeze. Such a soul prays, My Lord, whether I speak thy name or fall silent in thy dream, I am thine. Whether this body moves or is still, I am carried in thy breath. Life and death are shadows. Only thy light is real. Now let us pray together, heart to heart. O Allah, remove from me the weight of darkness. Break the chains of illusion that bind me to what fades. Make me a magnet of thy mercy, a vessel of thy peace, a mirror of thy wisdom. Draw toward me only what uplifts, and through me draw all hearts back to thee. And when the prayer ends, remain silent. For silence is the place where magnetism begins, where the soul remembers that it was never apart from the one it seeks. Before leaving, like, share, and subscribe the channel Sufi Path.